After adopting an unknown infant, a couple discovers too late that the child is not an ordinary human, but the bearer of frightening powers, the offspring of something evil. This is a recap of the 2019 film Brightburn. One evening, a happy couple shares a romantic moment until Tori feels a strange sensation. Outside, a mysterious source emits an intense red glow. Soon after, the couple adopts a baby who brings joy to the family. 10 years later, Brandon Breyer plays hide-and-seek with his mother, who is drawn by a whistle into the barn. During the search, Tori is startled when her son suddenly emerges from a mound of hay. Kyle, the boy's father, then arrives and scolds him for playing in the shed, which he considers a dangerous place. At school, Brandon surprises his teacher by demonstrating advanced knowledge in class, but his classmates resent him for it and constantly make fun of him. After making sure her son is asleep, Tori sits down to paint on a canvas. She begins to hear strange voices on the radio, and a red light shines through the gaps in the barn. At that same moment, the boy starts to struggle in his sleep and wakes with red eyes. He rises from his bed and, without realizing it, throws himself out of the window. His mother hurries outside and finds the swing in the yard moving on its own. She returns to the house, but a dark figure catches her eye and draws her back into the darkness of the yard. As she follows the unknown presence, Tori calls out for her son and is led to the barn. There she finds the boy violently attacking a door on the floor. When she approaches, Brandon freezes, then turns on his mother. He soon wakes from his trance with no understanding of how he got there. As Tori puts him back to bed, something stirs inside the shed. The next day, Brandon tries to mow the lawn at his father's request, but the mower will not run properly. Angered, the boy uses tremendous force and sends the machine flying an extraordinary distance. As he approaches it, he hears voices in his head urging him to place his hand on the blade. He slowly brings his hand closer until he touches it, but the device stops and his skin remains unscratched. That evening, the family celebrates Brandon's birthday at a diner. After dinner, Uncle Noah gives his nephew a rifle as a gift, but Kyle forbids him to accept it because he is still a child. The boy insists on keeping the gun and slams it hard on the table. At that moment, the televisions around the room shut off. His father pulls him by the arm, but Brandon clings to the chair until his mother persuades him to obey.
I said, give it to me!
During breakfast, Kyle notices his son chewing on a fork without stopping. When he removes it, he sees that the fork has been completely destroyed. Around the same time, Tori finds adult magazines in the boy's room. Though the couple assumes this is normal for a teenager, they later come across books on human anatomy and disturbing surgical images. During a family camping trip, Kyle tries to talk to his son about becoming a man. After everyone has fallen asleep, Tori wakes in the night to find that the boy has vanished. At the same time, a girl named Caitlin wakes in her bedroom, startled by her computer suddenly playing music. After unplugging it, she is unsettled to hear the same sound begin again. Looking out the window, she believes someone is standing in the darkness. Her mother enters the room, and after checking outside, Erica insists no one is there.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Caitlin admits that the person she saw was Brandon. Meanwhile, the Bryers search the woods for their son, who suddenly appears behind his mother and claims he was in the bathroom. The next day, the boy draws strange figures on a sheet of paper while waiting for Tori. Some of the markings form a symbol involving his name in a reddish color. When he realizes his mother is approaching, he tries to hide the drawing. Later, Kyle hears movement in the barn and goes to investigate with his rifle, believing it to be a wolf. He is surprised to find his son watching the chickens in a strange manner. In the early hours of the morning, a loud noise in the shed draws Kyle's attention. After witnessing a horrifying scene, he calls his wife to show her that all the chickens have been killed. Kyle admits that he had seen his son frightening the chickens earlier, and he believes the boy is responsible, since a wolf could not have broken down a door. Even so, Tori continues to believe her son would never do anything wrong. During a class exercice, the children take part in a game of trust in which Brandon is pushed from side to side within a circle of students. Caitlin steps out of the way, causing the boy to hit his head hard on the floor. The teacher then demands that she help him up. Against her will, she extends her hand and Brandon squeezes it so hard that he crushes it, breaking several bones.
Brandon, stop!
After the incident, the principal decides that Brandon will be suspended for 2 days, but Erica demands that he be arrested for the harm he caused her daughter. That night, Tori admits to her husband that she found the boy in the barn, trying to open the cellar door where they are hiding something. Kyle also wonders why his son has never bled in his life. Tori later looks for information about the meteor crash in Brightburn that took place 10 years earlier. At the same time, Brandon wakes and follows the dark voices into the barn. His mother notices the movement and rushes in, where she finds the boy floating in the air and speaking strange words. When she approaches, Brandon drops into the basement and cuts his hand in the fall, bleeding for the first time in his life. He questions his mother about his origin and asks about the metal object hidden below. Tori admits that he was not adopted from an orphanage, but arrived at the farm inside a metal capsule that fell from the sky. The boy reacts with anger and storms back into the house, destroying everything in his path. As he walks through the rain, he deciphers the words in his head, which mean "take over the world," and fires a powerful beam from his eyes. Later, Caitlin is startled when Brandon suddenly appears in her room, telling her she is the only one who truly knows him. He brings her flowers and warns her that he will make sure her mother never learns of their meeting. While at work, Erica finds strange symbols drawn on the windows of the diner. The lights begin to flicker, and as she steps closer in curiosity, the bulbs explode. The shards strike her in the eye, leaving a serious injury and blurring her vision. A masked figure appears in front of her and begins to chase her. She swings a baseball bat at him but misses, then hides in a cold room. Even after she locks the metal door, her pursuer destroys it with his heat vision and closes in on her, and Erica realizes that the figure is about to end her life. The next day, Brandon tells his parents that he accepts the story of his origin. At the scene of Erica's disappearance, the sheriff discovers symbols drawn on the window that resemble two-letter B's. At school, the boy speaks with his Aunt Marilee, who is also the school psychologist. He tells her that he believes he is superior, and that his real family does not come from a mediocre place like that town. When she returns home, Tori looks for Brandon but cannot reach him. As she enters the bathroom, the lights begin to flicker and her masked son appears outside, though she does not notice his presence. Meanwhile, Marilee hears an alarm signaling movement in her backyard. When she opens the door, she is confronted by her nephew, who begs her not to tell the sheriff about him. She gives little weight to his request. After he leaves, the alarm continues to sound, so she goes into the yard to check, leaving the door open. When she returns inside, she sends her husband a message saying she will turn off her phone and go to sleep. After Marilee goes to bed, her nephew appears at the bedroom door and moves toward her, but Noah arrives and finds his wife sleeping peacefully. While Noah brushes his teeth, the masked boy hides in the bathroom, and his shape startles his uncle.
Oh, shit!
Noah then finds Brandon in the closet wearing a strange mask. He scolds the boy and takes him to his car, but when Brandon learns that his uncle intends to tell his parents everything, he puts the mask back on and throws Noah against the garage door. Noah gets into the vehicle to flee, but during the drive the boy slams the car door and the engine shuts off. As Noah tries to restart it, the headlights come on and Brandon appears in front of him, floating closer as the car begins to lift off the ground. With his uncle helpless against the road, the boy uses his powers to slam the vehicle down, leaving Noah fatally injured. Severely wounded, Noah watches his nephew draw symbols on the asphalt with his own blood.
No, no, no!
Brandon then returns home without a shirt, claiming to his parents that he was playing ball, though they do not believe him. That night, Kyle relèves the day his son arrived. When he wakes, he finds a forest behind his bedroom door, and Tori is not beside him. Walking through the woods, he finds his wife next to the alien capsule holding a baby. As she turns toward him, a red liquid begins to drip from the child onto her eyes. But it is only a dream, and Kyle wakes to an urgent phone call. The Bryers arrive at the hospital where Marilee delivers the news that Noah has been found disfigured on the road. She adds that Brandon came to her house only minutes before the accident. The next day, Tori tells her son that his uncle died during the night, but the boy is indifferent and shows no sadness. Kyle accuses him of lying to the family, and Brandon tries to flee. When his father stops him, the boy strikes him and throws him against a cupboard with enough force to break it. Brandon then goes up to his room to retrieve the shirt he hid, and Kyle finds it stained with blood. The boy appears behind him, but Kyle conceals what he has found, telling his son that he understands his feelings. Kyle then tells his wife that Brandon is responsible for Noah's death, but she remains certain that the boy is innocent. At the police station, the sheriff notices that the same symbol seen on the diner windows is drawn on the highway where Noah died. Kyle decides to take his son on a hunting trip to strengthen their bond. Soon after, the deputy visits the Breyer home and tells Tori that the marks found at the crime scenes resemble her son's initials, but she denies the accusation. After the deputy leaves, she goes to her son's room and finds the same symbol drawn in a notebook many times. In the woods, Kyle raises his gun behind his son's back. At the same moment, Kyle fires at his son, who stands unmoved and watches in disbelief. As Kyle prepares another shot, Brandon vanishes. His father runs in panic but is confronted by the boy, who appears before him and throws him to the ground. Kyle pleads for mercy, but Brandon is unshaken and strikes him in the face with his heat vision. At that moment, Tori calls her husband to say she has discovered the truth, only to realize she is speaking to her son. The boy reveals that he has killed Kyle and is already home to settle things with his mother. Brandon appears outside the house and begins destroying everything around it, terrifying Tori, who runs in desperation. Sheltering under a table, she calls emergency services, but the tremors interrupt the call. The sheriff, attentive to calls from the Breyer residents, recognizes the emergency and arrives at the farm quickly. Tori hides as her son moves through the house, tearing through the walls, while she searches for the police. When she reaches the door where the deputy waits, he is attacked by the boy. The remaining officer calls for reinforcements and urges Tori to hide. Moving through the hallways, the officer sees the boy outside, but the figure vanishes, and Tori hears the officer cry out and fall beside her, badly wounded. Realizing her son is searching for her as he floats through the house, Tori covers her mouth to silence herself. When she senses that the boy has moved away, she tries to leave her hiding place. Brandon hears the sound and rushes over, but finds no one there because Tori has already climbed out a window. During the escape, she cuts her hand on a piece of metal, which reminds her that the debris in the barn could harm her son. Tori hurries to the shed while Brandon pursues her. Inside, she finds Erica's body displayed on the wall. Steadying herself, she picks up a piece of metal to use as a blade and calls out to her son, who waits in the darkness. When he meets her, the boy seems, for a moment, like the same child he once was. Tori approaches and embraces him, but as she tries to strike with the blade, he blocks the attack with ease and seizes her, carrying her up through the roof of the barn. As he flies higher, his mother is gravely injured. He releases her from his arms just as an airplane approaches. The next day, a news report announces that an aircraft crashed on the Breyer farm, killing dozens of people instantly, and that the only survivor was a boy named Brandon. The boy then sets out to destroy the cities and mark his symbol across the world. That is the story of Brightburn. If you enjoyed this recap, subscribe for more.